Good morning. It is day one of my hallway renovation. As you can see, it's very glamorous. So I'm going to be replacing the stairs because we have this gorgeous 1970s balustrade. Is that what you call it? I don't mind the uppy down bit, it's the swirls that aren't doing it for me. So I'm going to replace all that, rails coming off, all the wallpapers coming off. We just start putting down some flooring and then stopped. So obviously the whole of the flooring is changing. This doorbell, which I hate, is coming out. All the way down the back is where this is going to go. But I'm going to get on with stripping the wallpaper first, because you can see it's pretty grotty. Hopefully it comes off nicely. This is going to be a budget renovation, as you can see here, where I'll be doing all my cutting, all my tools are in there. So let's crack on, and I'm going to get on first with stripping all of the wallpaper. So I've been doing a little bit more. Made a right mess. It's not too bad. I'm literally pulling it off and then using the steamer to get the little back bit. The only issue is this must have had some yellow paint on it that's sort of hardly on it at all. So I think it's yellow paint. So I may have to wash the walls down to smooth this out a little bit. I'll do some research on what the best thing is to do on that so I can get them smooth. But the walls are pretty good. They're better than I thought they'd be. They're not too bad at all. Definitely don't need plastering. You'll just need something to make them nice and small, whether I sand it or I don't know. I'm gonna investigate that on YouTube, find out what I need to do. But it is tea break time, and then when I come back, I'm gonna carry on. Back to it this morning, sometime this morning, so I'm gonna carry on. I'm gonna work on this part of the ceiling, getting this off. This literally came off just being pulled off, and then this is just like the tissue back bit. So that's really easy to get off with the steamer. So this will take me no time at all. It's just a bit awkward because it's my back. Well, this all came off, just got to get the steamer working on this. And then what I'm gonna do is, once I've cleared all the walls off, because I've got it all off here, again, it's just got these tissue bits with the steamer, it just falls straight off. I'm gonna move this. This is being reused. This is gonna be used for shoes, and I'm gonna buy a few more shelves. So it's just a full rack of shoes. And it's literally just sitting on this plinth there, because you can see here, just popping through, that is the old door to the kitchen. So we have a bit of move around, and this area here is going to be shoes and cupboard, etc., because it's sort of perfectly built as it sticks out. And the entrance hall is much wider because it is quite tight. So when that's all cleared, it's going to look much better. So I'm going to continue with the stripping, and I'll show you a paper. So all I'm left is this tissuey stuff, which shouldn't take me very long just to go around with the steamer. But I've gone all the way up here, as far as I can reach. I can't reach anymore. So I've got that section to do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see if you can buy, because it's so annoying. I really want to be able to. I can reach that bit. What I need is a stick, and I can just go take it off. Always write something on the wall. So I think that says wall and something, September the 17th, 1975, time 1740 something. Good morning. It is Wednesday today, I think. Is it Wednesday? Yes, it is Wednesday. Lily is upstairs because there are teachers' strikes today. My son is at school though, it affected him. But I am using my sander, which is very good, on the walls. And as you can see here, I've done this tiny patch. It really makes it look like brand new plaster. So it's working really well on this bit that's just left from underneath the wallpaper. And then this, I think, is just little bits of paint. Yes, it took 5 seconds to do that. So that's what I'm going to work on today. And I've ordered a ladder and an extendable scraper to have a go on this top bit up here that I need to get off because it's a bit tricky. So I'm going to go and do that now, and I'm going to get up. Also had a bit of a go with this expanding foam. underestimated how much it expands, I have to say, because I've already swept it once. This is like some gross looking growth. It's very sticky, and I think what you actually do is you just cut it with a sharp knife, so I'll leave those growths. Now is I'm going to get my bucket with some hot water and a sponge that I just bought from B&Q, and I'm just going to rub this off because I don't want to use up all the sanding plates on there, but it's super easy to do. And when I'm doing this, I'm wearing a proper mask and goggles because it's very, very dusty. So I'm going to get on with doing this now. Up on the steps and steam all of this off, and all over here around this door, which is a lovely orange colour. I am pleased I've got this done. And then I had my ladder arrive, and I've realised I'm not destined to stand on a ladder, which is really good actually. It folds up. I managed to get all of this off. All I need to do now, I did it by using, so I made this. I bought one and it was rubbish because the blade was too thin. So I got my mop stick and then sellotape this on. And because it's got that gap, it almost, when you get a big bit, it snaps it and twists it off. So it kind of one acts like a little thumb. Anyway, so I've got this side to do, which I'll probably do this afternoon. Let's see if I can do it left hand, as you can see how good it is. So I haven't had to steam this wallpaper, which is a massive plus, obviously, because I can't reach. Because it's got that like bit there, you can almost twist it and use it like a hand. And I can't do it with my left hand, but you can see how good it is like that. So I'll do that. They take me 5 minutes. I'm going to get this moved, which will be going over here. So I'm going to move all of that and get that in there. Get this space a little bit in this entranceway. Then I can get all this wood off. A little bit more stripping to do over there. But we're getting there. But this is day 4, so I mean I haven't worked solidly on it. I've got to admit, obviously work gets in the way. But I think this is the most important part of prepping and getting it right. And I'm not going to get a paintbrush anywhere near this until I've been around every single bit, filled, because there's like little holes like this. So I'll sand it first and just go around filling, then pat that down, and there's cracks. So I'll give that a very light sand and fill all that, all sorts of bits. So I'm going to go around and do that. I think that's the most important bit. So I'm going to crack on with that and I'll show you in a bit how I've got on. Start to sort out the really bad walls was to do a bit of plastering. However, I'm not a plasterer, haven't got a clue. To get it in, it would have been about 500 quid. So I decided to try a technique. I have done a separate video on how I got this wall super smooth. So I'll link that below, because this wall had thick chunks of glue, chunks out of it. I literally couldn't sand off these bits of glue. It was so bad. So I needed to do something drastic. It turned out so well, and I've done the whole process on a separate video, which is linked below. Okay, I am sanded down. The wall is absolutely amazing. This stuff, honestly, I can't tell you how smooth and wonderful this wall is. It's just amazing. I've sanded it all down, and then I've just gone around with a wet sponge very lightly just to take off the dust. And honestly, here, it's just made it super smooth. It's amazing. So this is the area I am going to be working on. If you haven't watched my video that I did, I sorted out this wall. This was horrendous. I will link it below. This, I did it all myself. It was a really simple job. Cost me about 50 quid, and I made that wall incredibly smooth. So do watch that video. I'm going to be using the same stuff this wall. So this basically is all going to get moved down the end to make this entrance wider. And here, behind here, as you can see, I have, if it actually stops zooming like that, I have an old door that's blocked up and big gaps, basically. pretty horrendous wall. So I am going to take all of this out and I'm going to make this wall super smooth and transform. I'm actually off to Wickes now. I have done click and collect on a bit of plasterboard to put here. I've got for a big sheet. I will buy a little knife when I'm there because I cannot find my standing knife anywhere. And I'll cut it down so it fits in the car. And I've bought some plastery screws, so I'm going to rush out and do that. And this evening, my son will be home from sixth form, just after 6, so he can help me sort of lift this out of the way, and then at least tomorrow I'm ready to get going in the morning and get this sort of sorted. So. So it's fairly easy to get that out, but as you can see, I'm left with a terrible wall. So I immediately bought a couple of pieces of plasterboard, put them in the door frame with some filler all around it to get a reasonable base. Then I used the same technique that I did on that wall that I've said is linked down below. So this was the first coat that I did. It actually took me 3 coats in total because it was a real dink in where the door frame was, but it needs to be doing because there was no way I could have made it a smooth wall without it. This is after I'd finished the 3rd coat, and I went round and adjusted a few of the bad patches on the wall as well, but actually the whole of the wall wasn't too bad. It just needed a very light screeding with this amazing stuff that I used. And I actually used the remainder of what was left in the first tub, so it didn't cost me anything. So this is after I've done my 3rd and final coat. I like to put some white paint on it because I think it shows up any marks and you can just go over it again. It was this point I decided I needed to do the ceiling because that was now looking really bad compared to the walls, so that's what I did next. So I've applied the first coat very loosely. I'm going to leave this bit and see how it takes. So I put it on very gently and smeared it out a little bit, as I did before with this. So you roll it on. I'll show you when I do the second coat in a bit more detail and then smooth it around like this. But I've done it in a very thin layer because I want to make sure if that dries quite well, then I put the second coat on, then that's when I'll try and get it smooth. But let's see, because I want to test whether or not it's still going to peel off, because I'm conscious there's all these sort of bubbly bits. This is really not a fun job, I have to say, but we'll see. I'll leave that to dry and then let's see if that almost seals all these bits underneath and hides the cracks a bit. So I'll update you when it's dry. Almost just want to seal it in, but it wasn't too bad actually. Put it on the ceiling, it wasn't too bad at all on the back, sort of do it sideways and it wasn't too bad. This bit is amazing, that paint goes on beautifully on that bit, don't know why. It's more like an orangey ceilingy bit, don't know. So I've got the join to sort out there, so that's good. Didn't have to do that bit, which is great. This bit I'm just going to give it a bit of a sand with just a block sand mask door open, and I'm going to see if I can get away with just 1 coat. But I think if it was, you know, really bad, you would do a second coat over the top and smooth it down. But I'm going to see if I can get away with 1, which I actually only did 1 coat on this wall. So as far as there, that bit I think is still drying because I did do that a little bit later, so I've stopped. But it is really smooth. It's worked. Just with 1 coat, it smoothed it all nicely. So that's amazing. I actually, in the end, you'll see I switched over to using this on the roughest one I had, which was a 400. Just start with a 120, but no, go for a long one. Right, good morning. It is 2 days after I did this ceiling. Had a bit of a disaster, I have to say. This bit, fantastic. What I did, I made the mistake and I rushed. I should have left this overnight to dry and I didn't. I thought, oh, it's dry, it's brilliant. Started painting it. It was like, yeah, it's brilliant, 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 brilliant. Oh no, this wasn't dry. So I immediately stopped painting and I've let it dry. Now I've been up the ladder and checked it. I think I am going to just be able to just sand this little bit down and paint it, so it's fine, but I did stop. This bit, beautiful, 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 beautiful. And I thought, oh my God, I'll stop. So I've got to sand all of this. So I'm going to get all of that this morning. So it's the last bit of sanding, but it is working. It's definitely sealed the ceiling and made it lovely and smooth because it was terrible. So I'm going to get on with that now and then I'll show you when I finished. This bit, brilliant, perfect, love it. This bit, disaster, but quick sand, 10 minutes, and then hopefully it'll be superb. Slap a bit of paint on, done. I'm sort of funky around here. This is a job that I'll start next. I'm gonna rip that out. But I want to just get all the walls and everything sealed, painted. I've got a little bit of sanding down here. This is a massive hole. So I put some of that stuff on, I'm gonna do that, and then another one there. Right, ceiling painted, just let that dry, not too bad. A few little areas that I'll sort of go around with a little hand sander. Just on the tops, just little bits, like there's a little bit there, you can see there, so I haven't done that bit. Just gonna lightly sand that with hand sander, so I'm really happy how it's going. It's all sealed in now, reduced the dust. Okay, so here we are. I've now stopped with the walls until I crack on with the panelling, but I'm very happy how this turned out. If you remember what it was like before, it was pretty terrible. So now it's nice and smooth and ready for another coat of paint. Did more paint there, as you can see. So that's good. Lovely smooth wall, and the ceiling, not bad. I've got to do a little tiny bit more sanding on a few little bits, but actually the bits that went a bit funny, not too bad. But I've pretty much stopped this now until I carry on with the rest of the building work, and then once I've done all the building work, I'm going to go around again, light sand, like these little tiny patchy bits, just to get it perfect. Then I'll do a final fresh coat so it's nice and fresh. So I've got it to a pretty good stage. It's definitely worth doing. It's like bits like this just need a really light sand, and I just got to put a bit of fit around there. But compared to how it was just absolutely horrendous. I'm really pleased. So everything I've used and everything, including links to these videos, I'll link below. And I will see you on the next video where I am going to be doing some panelling, the stairs, you name it. So I'll see you on the next hall renovation vlog.